But those early teachings and watching my mother get up in the cold nights, in the cold mornings, take me to school, bring me back home, cook, right? And we didn't have much. But what I had was a woman that believed and saw something in me that I didn't see. She saw that I need to get this young boy into a place where he could tap into the potential that he has and really go on and do great things. When I think about she invested in these things, and I thought to myself, I have to apply myself and really tap into the belief of this individual. And again, it's allowed me to create a skill set and really bring it to life, because my ability to storytell, not just through graphic design, but through my words and able to articulate and motivate others, is really what has helped me navigate.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Against All Odds. My name is Daniel Coker, your regular host, and this week we have I can't believe this. I can't believe that we have our guests in the studio. Our guest this week is the one and only Mahari Hay, right? And you guys wait for this. Mahari is kind of one of my newest best buddies.
Yeah.
He's somebody I'm coming to like more and more every day. He's a truly amazing person, and he started out his career, actually started out being born in Jamaica.
Yes.
Jamaican born.
Never forget that.
Yeah. Jamaican born, and started working in the call center, and today he is a very, very, very big man. I can't even give his title. He's like a director, he's a banker, and he deals with big clients, big clients.
Indeed.
Companies that turn over $250,000. Those are the people that he talks to. So it's my privilege and pleasure to introduce to our podcast, Mr. Mahari Hay.
Are you going to put some clapping there?
Yeah.
Dan, I appreciate you being here, and thank you for having me on the show. I would have driven further than, all the way up here just to be on this show, because ever since we've met, we've kind of connected really well.
We have.
And I think, just allowing me to come and vibe with you, to talk with you, to share life experiences with you. If I can help motivate or inspire one person watching this podcast, job done.
Ah, boy.
So I'm happy.
I'm just in awe, because you have a truly amazing story, and Mahari, we tend to start these conversations with our guests by kind of asking a little bit about their background, to get a bit of context. Because I know that a big influence in your life has been your mother, your late mother.
Yeah.
Who sadly passed away exactly 10 years ago.
Yeah.
God bless her. And I'd like you to share with us, a bit about your background and how your mother influenced you into forming those beliefs. And you've got some powerful belief systems which we're going to be talking about.
Before this episode starts, I'd like to ask a big favor. Your subscription means a lot to us, because the bigger this platform gets, the bigger the guests get. So do me a favor, please click on the subscribe button and the bell notification so that you don't miss out on any future episodes. Now let's get back to this episode.
Yeah, for sure. And just you speaking to me and me kind of looking downwards and with a big smile on my face, because anybody that speaks about my mother, or when I think about her, I automatically get a smile on my face.
Aww.
Due to the impact that she's had on my life and the way how I treat and interact with other people. So, just like you said at the beginning of the podcast, so I was born in Jamaica, Kingston, Maxfield Avenue.
Kingston!
Yeah. Proper place.
Give a shout,
place.
Kingston people.
We got all the Kingston massive. Kingston 13, I'm very patriotic. I've got a lot of family still in Jamaica. We come from very humble beginnings.
Okay.
But the best thing about Jamaica for me was, no matter how humble the beginnings were, family was always there.
Right.
So, you never missed what you didn't have. And I think just being able to be around people that always catered and looked out for me was fantastic. And I think it made me into the person that I am today. So when I think and speak about one person in particular, my mother, she had a heart of gold. when people think of the Windrush generation and how black people, especially black women, helped build up British society, right? My mother played a huge pivotal role in that. So she left Jamaica to come to England.
Oh,
and she was a nurse.
Oh.
So if you take a moment and think about what a nurse is, right? A nurse is somebody who's catering for somebody else. Strangers, they go to work and they turn up every day to cater for people who they're not related to sometimes, right? But they have a loving, care,
intimate relationship with people.
It's beautiful, right? So when I think about that, and then me growing up in Jamaica, and then she sending for me to now move to England.
Oh, okay.
So I never forget the early stages of having my mother, and we lived in a very small apartment, not just like this studio here today, single bed, and it was amazing because I used to think that she would go to work because we didn't have anybody, and I'd have to wait until she got. But she was so committed, right? And she would always used to come back, and she had a very poignant saying that she used to say to me. She goes, "Mahari, if you can choose to be anything, choose to be kind."
Okay.
The kindness in her heart for other people is what stuck with me, because growing up, I didn't really get what she meant, right? Because it was all about survival, right? We've left our culture, our kind of community that we're used to, and now I'm in this freezing cold place called England. Freezing, right? And now I'm thinking, well, how do I be kind? I had a very, very strong Jamaican accent. Right? So people used to hear me talk and they'd be like, "What are you saying? What are you saying?" It's still in me.
Yeah,
right?
man.
But those early teachings and watching my mother get up in the cold nights, in the cold mornings, take me to school, bring me back home, cook, right? And we didn't have much. But what I had was a woman that believed and saw something in me that I didn't see.
Mm-hmm.
She saw that I need to get this young boy into a place where he could tap into the potential that he has and really go on and do great things. And not to say I would have probably not achieved that in Jamaica, but definitely there was more opportunity when I came to England.
Understood.
Right? There was lots of things that I could do, lots of different things that I can kind of tap into, relationships, networks, and it took me a while to tap into that and really understand that. But this woman didn't give up.
Wow.
She was steadfast, and she would also say to me, "Mahari, don't bring no trouble to my door." My mom did not like embarrassment.
Okay.
Right? She would take care of the home, but the moment you step outside the house,
You're responsible.
be responsible.
Okay.
Do not let any of the authorities, any trouble, come knocking on this door to say, "I've just experienced this with your son." She didn't like that. You're representing her when you step out this house. And I thank her for that, because when I think about it now, it's made me into the man I am today. One, that has a heart that wants to help people, and two, is accountable.
Understood.
And that's why I kind of just, I'm grateful for that question, because it really sets the tone of the conversation.
Yeah. So what kind of person were you like growing up, as in terms like a student? Were you like a studious kind of person? Because I'm trying to understand how somebody gets from a small, I don't know, apartment somewhere with a mum, nursing mum who's working all hours to bring up the son, and to get to where you are now, in banking in the city, and it doesn't add up.
Yeah.
It doesn't add up. I mean, I don't get it.
So for me, when I think about that journey, I think it's, again, testament to her steadfastness into wanting better for me, right? As parents, they may live a certain life, but they have a drive and a desire to say, "I want better for my children." And I think looking back at what she's done and how she's invested in the teaching that she's done, I think for me, it was about applying myself. And when I think of school, I wouldn't say I was academic, because I did enjoy school, because I was very personable and sociable. So, they have a definition of the cool kids, right? So my accent played a big part in that, because I was Jamaican. I grew up in North London, Tottenham.
Oh, okay.
So there was a West Indian community there, quite diverse community. So being able to be there and go to school and very, active in sports and football, and I love those things. Okay. So it allowed me to be a part of the cool kids, but at the same time, I knew I needed to apply myself.
Okay.
So yes, I wasn't getting A stars and A's, but I was doing well.
Okay.
Right? Okay. And, teachers love me, students love me, but I just always, wanted to do better because I thought I wasn't doing it for myself. I just didn't want my mum to have a go at me. So I would think I was one of them students when the exam is coming, I would study the night before.
Right, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I was just I want to play football, I want to do this. Yeah. But the night before, I got a test tomorrow. So that's the type of student that I was, and by God's grace, I did well. I did well. GCSEs. What I'm saying? I did what was required to get me into college.
Yeah.
And then through college, I really found a different passion in terms of coming out of your, I wouldn't say the normal subjects, your science, English, maths type vibe, but I really found my love for graphic design and architecture.
Wow. Okay, I remember you telling that story.
Now I was able to express myself in a really creative way. So I've gone from having a creative ability up here to now tap into a skill set where I can access design programs and really use like a MacBook, and it wasn't a MacBook at the time, it was an Apple Mac. And I never forget, my mum went and bought me an Apple Mac. Oh, if you think about those colourful TV looking ones, she went and she bought that for me.
Wow.
We didn't have money like that.
Wow.
But this is what I mean about investing.
You really invested in you. Yeah.
In you, to say, I'm going to invest in you because I believe that you'll be good at this. And I look back at those things and I think, wow, those things were expensive.
They still are.
Right? Yeah. Now my daughter wants a MacBook, so don't even tell me. Right? But when I think about she invested in these things, and I thought to myself, I have to apply myself and really tap into the belief of this individual. And again, it's allowed me to create a skill set and really bring it to life, because my ability to storytell, not just through graphic design but through my words, and able to articulate and motivate others, is really what has helped me navigate the corporate space. Because being able to manage upwards is a skill. Speaking to people who are your peers and people who may be at lower grades in your hierarchical structure is great, but when you have the ability to meet people who are influential in an organization and them trusting you to help them make decisions is a formidable power. And that's the power of managing upwards.
Okay, I like that. So Mahari, tell me, how did you go from a call center, from graphic design to banking? I still don't get it. Born in Jamaica, came to the UK. Interested in graphic design, which is where we are in this conversation. And then I know the bit about you starting to work in the call center, which you're going to talk about next. And then to being one of the most senior black executives in the city today in banking, I don't get it. How does that work?
So for me, right, it was all about trying to do something through lived experience. So what I mean by that is, I never forget my mother and I on a Saturday afternoon, Dalston High Street, and she tried to open up a bank account for me, right? And without naming any of the banks, so we've gone into 2 banks, and they were so dismissive because she didn't know the questions to ask, or just the patience to say, what I'm trying to do is to secure something for this young man who is my son. To have a bank account in his name is something that I want for him, right? So seeing my mother being handled in a way really struck something in me where I thought, well, that didn't really sit right with me. All you needed was a little patience with someone, right, through customer service, to articulate that this is why it's important. If someone has taken the time to bring their child out, whatever day it is, to say, I want to set something up for longevity. And just seeing that, I never really said it to my mother, but I remember it because she seemed really disappointed that I'm trying to come and talk to somebody about something I don't really understand. So I'm trusting you to help me to maybe say, no, that's not what you need. I need to see X, X, and X. So if I can maybe
a bit of guidance.
That's what she needed. So I think that now stuck with me. And at the time, I didn't know it stuck with me.
Okay.
So now, fast forward, yes, my skill set is graphic design and architecture, but there was a desire in me now to do something that plays a huge role in society, right?
Okay.
Finance.
Right.
Finance sector, right? So I wanted to enter into somewhere now when people come in or have a question around finance, they can look and see somebody that represents them, right? So when I joined in the call center, I didn't understand the size of the organization. I just thought I was joining the finance sector. And it wasn't until I sat down and then, you can click on those internal kind of job shops. And then I saw the size of the organization. Because I always used to see banking as the high street banks.
Okay.
There's so many moving parts, so many different areas, so many different places that you can have influence that you would never think are linked to finance. So when I got in there and I'm doing
It's a whole world.
it's a whole world. Risk analysis, asset finance, so many different things. Trade, there's so many
Treasury.
things. Man, you know what I'm talking about. So I think for me, it was, I'm going to get my foot in the door, which I did. And then what I'm going to do is to make my way from the call center to a place where people who may even start in the call center themselves might look up and say, my goodness, that's something that I want to do, right? And why it was, we'll probably get into this, but it was difficult because rewind 15, 20 years, there weren't many people from black or minority ethnic background that were sitting high up the ladder, who I could turn to anyway.
Yeah.
So anything I share today is my lived experience.
Okay.
I couldn't take up the phone and phone, Dan, I know you're involved in X and I would love to have a conversation with you just to find out how I could make my way from the call center, maybe just to the next grade where I would want to be a risk analyst, right? Just the next step. Trying to carve out a career for yourself without help is very difficult. So that's what happened. There was a burden in me because I remember what my mum went through and the disappointment she felt. And I said, nobody should have to go through that because she just wanted to do something for her family. So now, me being in finance and me sitting on panels and me attending colleges and universities, there's a desire for me to give back and help some people. And that's all I want to do. I want someone to say, Mahari, I don't know if you're the right person, but can you help me connect the dots? Absolutely.
So, how did you basically acquire the knowledge? Just listening to you, you're the kind of person that I'm sure many people would like to have as a son.
Hey, we give thanks.
Because you seem to be very grounded, and I know you. You haven't let your success get to your head. You're one of the most humble and most relatable people, right? And listening to your story now about your mum and the experience you went through in the bank, I'm kind of getting why you go to the lengths that you do to relate and to connect. Okay, the word I'm looking for is connecting. You have an amazing ability to connect with people at all levels, at all in all sort of areas, which is a unique gift because some people just cannot seem to find that. You seem to find a common ground with anyone. And I think it's a unique skill. So my question is, how did you then acquire the skills that you need? Okay, I know you're a senior black executive, very senior black executive in the city, but then you can get there by being a token person, right?
Absolutely, yes.
But you can't stay there if you don't know your stuff. And I know that you know your stuff, okay?
Yes.
So I'm trying to get you to share with our viewers.
Yes, absolutely.
How you came. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to get to, but it's not about making a lot of noise. Not about. You can have the most carefully curated plan, for yourself.
Yeah.
But you need to be worth your salt to be able to survive at the level that you're operating now.
Absolutely. And
so how did you do that?
Fantastic question. And I will look directly into the camera and say this. to anybody watching, anybody listening, have the ability to, when you are articulating yourself, to speak with purpose. People trust you when you are speaking with purpose and intention because they look at you as an SME. So everything that I do, we've spoken before we kind of went live and we were talking about how busy I can get and how busy I can be. Everything that I do outside of my job, right, is because it's a passion for me, right? I understand it, I want to do it. But first and foremost, my bread and butter is my day job. What am I getting paid for? And I would say to anybody that's got their fingers in a lot of pies, be excellent at your job. So nobody can question your integrity or your ability to do your job. So if you're thinking now, for me, how did I transition from this graphic design and creative skill set? I stepped into an arena where I thought to myself, how can I add value? Right? That's my why. How do I add value? So when I leave the room, somebody says, boy, Mahari, he's good. We need him to do this.
Yeah.
Because I was able to speak with purpose and explain how I can add value. Right? How can I add value to help somebody else deliver on their objectives? And also, you always need to input how can they add value to help you deliver on your objectives. So I would always speak with clarity. So anything or new role that I've undertaken or any position that I'm going into, it was all about, am I able to either learn on the job? In my spare time, how do I sharpen my skill set? Right? Because a lot of the times people can focus in on their weaknesses, but you never put your weaknesses on your CV. You're hired for your strengths.
Yeah.
So those are the things I'm focusing in on. So when I think about roles that I've applied for, there is an element that, yes, I can do this job, but there are parts where I will go into to sharpen my skill set. And sometimes, you do need to go the extra mile to get better at what you're doing. Because how does a graphic designer cross over into the finance sector and can lead on commercialization for trade? Right?
Yeah.
The parallels don't really...
They don't match up, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's come through a willingness to get better at my craft. So not just being able to talk to people and influence people, but if people were to ask me, how do you commercialize this particular piece on a digital solution for a client that wants to trade internationally? Oh, no worries. I've got a commercialization framework which I've developed that can help get them from A to B.
Wow.
Focusing on your craft. So when people speak and think of you, they know exactly how you add value.
So it sounds as if you've learned how to grow your influence, as you've navigated, your career.
Come on, touch me there. You know.
Because it looks like you've mentioned that you do things on purpose and by intention, and I think that's really, really powerful. In terms of your progress. Now, another thing is, you've gotten to where you are pretty much within the same organization.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, which is quite unique, because a lot of people keep jumping from place to place to place, but you have learned that the key to progress is being able to add value.
Yeah.
At every stage of the process.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you just talk to us, tell our viewers a little bit about the benefits of sometimes not thinking that the grass is greener on the other side, but you've made yourself more valuable from a call center, and to the C-suite, in the same organization over many years.
Yeah.
Which is very rare.
Very rare. I hear people say that to me and they're very shocked about the longevity or the length of time that I've done in one organization, because for me, I like stability. Right?
Okay.
I'm not fearful to move. I know that I'm having a lot of impact in the organization that I'm working in, because I never forget, I was sitting down one time and someone said to me, have you noticed when you go somewhere and you come back and there's someone that's always there? That's what you call a pillar of the community. Somebody who's steadfast. No matter where I go or I come back, I can always trust that person will be there. That's their guiding light. And, I didn't really understand what it meant at the time, but I think I have a purpose to help deliver something in the organization that I'm in. Right? And it's not to say throughout the years I've not been tempted to move and shake and do different things, but the sooner I realized the impact that I was having, I was able to have more impact. The sooner I realized the worth that I have, I was able to offer more worth to other people. And again, you know, definitely thinking about stability and all these different things, working for an organization that helped me set up in my personal life. You know, for me, thinking of a financial organization, I'm thinking around mortgages and financial products that you can help benefit your own life. Absolutely. Not to say others didn't do that, but it's like, don't rock the boat, right? You know, why rock the boat? I'm good, right? If you saw my LinkedIn DMs, I'm getting headhunted every day.
I'm not surprised.
So it's not like I didn't want to move. I just, at the moment, and you know me, and you see my LinkedIn and you see my Instagram, it's like there isn't a day that goes by that somebody hasn't said, Mahari, thank you for that. Or when I heard you speak over there, that was absolutely amazing. So the resources and the platform it's given me, people look at you and they think, that guy's, he's not unstable like water. He's not jumping ship every 6 months, right? Yes, I'm a career man, but I'm also a family man. And through family comes stability. And I want to be able to bless my family because I know what it's like to go without, right? And being able to navigate those rocky waters was a difficult time. But now there's stability in my life, which is fantastic. And that's what I like, you know, family is everything to me. And I don't want to chop and change and move and shake, but I can have real impact. And that's what I've done. You know, just trying to let people see me and it's like, that's a genuine guy. And that's what I like.
Fantastic. So, what I'm going to do is that we're going to bring this conversation to a close and we'll have a part 2.
Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, on this note, we would like to bring this section of the conversation to a close and we'll be right back. Thank you.